Hey y'all, hey! It's been many moons. It's been a month of Sundays. I have been working incredibly hard on a few things, but I had to come and talk about what we had going on tonight. Baby! Okay? It's giving, feature presentation. It's giving primetime programming. It's giving who is directing the miniseries. I'm gagging right now. And I'm not gagging. First of all, hello, everyone. Hello. I haven't seen you in forever. But it's great to see you. Of course, we are going to be, hi, Monica. Hi, Michelle. Cheryl. We are going to unpack this hearing. Now, a few initial thoughts on the hearing. Some of the footage was like, okay. Like, I gagged a little bit. Also, too, it's so, for those of you in the hip-hop community, if you're like one of those people like me who always looked at the director of music videos and you watch like MTV and BET and stuff, it was interesting because the documentary director, the videographer, who was following the Proud Boys, who testified tonight, he actually used to direct hip-hop music videos. So I'm really gagging. I'm like, oh my God, that's the guy that directed the Trina Baddest Bitch video. So I'm like, you went from directing hip-hop videos down south to now you on Capitol Hill testifying against white supremacists. I gagged. But it's very, hi Chicago, hi Tamika. It's very, interesting seeing all of this. First of all, I want to thank you all for joining me. As well, if I haven't already. Now, let's get into this hearing. Okay. So first off, everything is a show. Everything is theater. Everything is a production. What we watched tonight was a goddamn production. Okay? But I understand why it was done this way, because they could have shown this. They could have did this in the middle of the day. But I think for where the state of the country is right now, as far as racial relations, political relations, just basic human decency, the move to do it prime time was necessary. Okay? It was very necessary. I will say also this is very historic because what they basically just did was lay out a case to charge a former president of the United States for in what I think is treason. So that's very interesting and very stunning for me because a lot of this stuff that we saw was very damning. To have, Benny Thompson, who was giving me senior pastor bishop tease, kick it off. I find it very interesting that in this trial, in my opinion, everything was strategically done. You had the elder, peaceful black man with the Morgan Freeman voice kick everything off and welcome everybody in. Okay, and lay out the history and all that. It was giving Morgan Freeman tease. No shade, Benny Thompson, you killed it, but it was giving Morgan Freeman tease. Okay, then you have the stern Hillary Clinton-esque looking Republican, but I don't really give a shit about Republicans right now. Former vice president's wife, Liz Cheney, do like go in with the zingers. Okay, so you already got, let's look at this diverse panel. You got black man, you got Morgan Freeman setting it off. Then you got Hillary Clinton kicking it off with the questions and shit, right? Then we get this video package, okay? The video, first of all, whoever edited the video package is caught, okay? Because they did that, okay? The whole footage of the rioters and the insurrectionists, in the Capitol, and then the audio playing over top of it of, Donald Trump saying these are good people, they're special. Like, the editor deserves a fucking Emmy just for this. This is giving Emmy. I don't know if you can nominate insurrection hearing for Emmy, but Hollywood make it happen, because that was very much giving Emmy caliber editing and production skills, okay? Then you have William Barr testifying. Now, any of you who have watched any type of gangster movie, any type of drug movie, people always snitch when the kingpin get pinched. You're not going to be able, his daughter, I'm sorry, Keisha, his daughter. Liz Cheney is the daughter. My bad. Sorry. I got a little quick there. But any gangster movie, any drug movie, like when the kingpin gets pinched, all of the little henchmen tell. They start crying. It just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? All of them start crying. Yes, Liz Cheney is his daughter. I'm sorry I said wife. My bad. Please forgive me. Don't shoot me. I'm sorry. But anytime you see any of those movies, they're always going to snitch. And what was very interesting was, we followed that whole Trump presidency, of course. We had our meetings about that. And William Barr was one of his most loyal, staunch supporters. I couldn't stand his John Goodman looking ass, every time he came on screen. I couldn't stand him, okay? But it's interesting to see him flip like that. And I don't know with some of these people if they were willing to flip like this because they knew it was over and it was a sense of relief, because part of me feel like some of these folks were relieved that it was over, and they were like, okay, we got this ride, we got everything we can get out of it, show's over, shut this shit down, move on. And what I saw not only from William Barr's, testimony in the video, was also the exchange, which I found interesting, between Kayleigh McEnany and Sean Hannity. And what it tells me is this: what's so sad about the text between Kayleigh McEnany and Sean Hannity is that, and this is why people, and I'm gonna tie this in, this is why people have developed such a distrust of the media, because from that text message between Kayleigh McEnany and Sean Hannity, you could tell that Sean Hannity really don't be believing a lot of the shit that he say when he's broadcasting. That's what's sad. He really don't believe half of the shit that he be saying. But that's his job. And what is really sad is the Kayleigh McEnany's of the world, okay, the Sean Hannity's of the world, they were willing to sacrifice the stability of the republic, moral code, and journalistic ethics for a paycheck and status. And that's sad. And it's scary. Because if reading those text messages, you can see that they don't really believe the shit. And for those of you, I can't stand Kayleigh McEnany. I can't stand. I remember when she was a correspondent on CNN before she went to go work for the Trump White House. I couldn't stand her ass then. I really couldn't stand her when she got in the Trump administration. And then to see this shit, I really can't stand her ass because she's full of shit. Okay? That was the thing. Now, I'm going to say this. Ivanka, you out the will. You out the will. Ivanka, I hope, I'm sure you and Jared, y'all got investments, y'all got Russian bank accounts and shit. Y'all gonna be good, but you not getting nothing from Donald. I gagged when they showed the Ivanka video. Like, if we had, this is the one time where I wish Trump's Twitter was active. Because I know he would have lit her ass up. He would have lit her ass up for that video. And the crazy thing is, she didn't really say nothing, and this is only night one. Keep in mind, y'all, this is a mini-series. This is a limited series on FX and all major networks, streaming at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for, 6 nights. Notice how, that's another thing, too. The gagger. You notice how they laid out the episodes, low-key? They laid out the episodes. On night 2, we'll go over this. On night 3, we'll go. It was given coming soon on Insurrection. And I gagged because it was given like, oh, we getting a season, sis. Where is the box set? Do I DVR? Is this available online? Is this iTunes, Amazon? It's crazy. But I think that it was interesting seeing her. And the thing is, like I said, back to Ivanka, she didn't, in my opinion, say anything that was like super crazy. But we know how Donald's mind works. She just simply acknowledged that what William Barr was saying, was valid. She like, okay, yeah, the shit makes sense. He lost. But Donald ain't gonna live for that. He gonna live for that. Yes, Jamal, this was definitely, tonight was the trailer, okay? Now, once they start getting these, and we got a lot to cover in this trial. We didn't even get to the officer yet. But once they start bringing these insurrectionists in to testify live, that's the gagger. Live. Once they start bringing them in, I am going to gag, okay? Sidebar, shout out to my skin. I have absolutely no product on, and I'm going to tell you, working out, drinking water, and changing what you put in your mouth will really change your skin, y'all. Sidebar. But anyway, so let's get into the live testimony, okay? Which was interesting to me. Now, I found it interesting that the first witnesses were a white British, I don't know if he's British, Australia, whatever, but you have this like international sounding man who's also a documentary filmmaker as a witness. And then you have this classic looking white woman who's a police officer. Masterful storytelling. Masterful. Okay? You couldn't have picked it any better. Okay? Masterful storytelling. So you got the white girl, okay? She up there. She testifying. Now, I gotta give a shout out to Officer Caroline Edwards. That's the definition of hold the line. This bitch took a concussion and got back up like ain't shit happened, okay? And you see her, I don't know if it, here's the thing, and here's what I'm thinking as a black man, as a black person. I don't know if that bravery came from her police training and she's a brave person, or, for all of the black and brown folks in the room, I don't know if that came from, how white woman, how dare you, kind of audacity. Nevertheless, sis had nerve, okay? She was shaking the table, or should I say shaking the fence on that goddamn footage. She was holding that fence for dear life. Okay? And I gagged. Okay? I gagged. Can't say that she wasn't on her job. She was a great witness because she's white. She's a woman. But not only that, she was able to articulate her points very well. Also, too, the fact that you have a federal or capital or whatever branch police officer testifying who is also a family member, daughter, what have you, of a Marine. Okay? That was very, 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 very compelling. Okay? Very compelling. And then you have Nick Quested, former music video director, now documentary member, who sounds British. I don't know if he, like I said, if he's British or Australian, giving this very, to the point, unfiltered, testimony, but also his footage. What I saw from the footage, let's get into this footage that Nick Quested showed, because some of this footage we had not seen, right? When I look at the footage, first of all, let this be a lesson to brown folk who not black folk, but think that they're white adjacent. Your ass is going to get locked up right with their asses. All y'all following, these are not patriot groups. I feel like patriot has gotten turned into this term to use for supremacists or racist. The new term is patriot. Okay? And for those, for those brown folk who think that they are white adjacent, understand that your ass will go to jail too, right along with them. Okay? And it was interesting to see the leader of the Proud Boys, who is Hispanic of Latin descent, I don't want to offend anybody, man, who's the leader of this patriot group, quote unquote, that is really full of white supremacists. And you're meeting with another group, the Oath Keepers, who are white supremacists. And I think that's very telling. And then you get on television and you guys start singing like Aretha Franklin. It was giving Ain't No Way. Okay? And not only that, but the audacity. You actually have a filmmaker following you around like you're getting ready to do this iconic thing. And to a certain degree, bitch, it was iconic. Iconic for all of the wrong reasons. Okay? But, yeah. Now, another thing that gagged me about, and this was like a sidebar, but I noticed how when Mr. Quested was talking about when they came back to D.C. and D.C. was buzzing and busy for the insurrection, how none of the choice hotels. So first of all, how you going to be a patriot group and y'all supposed to be out in the wild, in the wilderness with guns and shit, taking over the country, overthrowing governments, but you upset because your hotels of choice are not available, bitch. It was giving, y'all are staying in the Best Western. It's giving 2-star. Okay? And I just thought that was funny. I personally chuckled at the hotel comment because I was like, not the Proud Boys needing 4-star accommodations, bitch. Not y'all wanting to have y'all guns sitting in the Kimpton. Okay, I cannot. Like, I'm gagging right now, But I thought that was really funny. When I look at the testimony in the trial overall, I think about several things, right? First off, I'm going to be very honest with you. Watching the footage again pissed me the fuck off. It pissed me off because as a black person, I watch white privilege in real time live when it happened. And then to watch the footage and see it again. When I look at, Roe v. Wade rallies, Black Lives Matters protests, women's marches and things like that have full-on military-grade security meeting them. But you have a bunch of white folks storm a federal institution And they got to carry on in there for a while. And for me, it really made, yes, Aaron, it was giving Red Roof fan. It really made me mad. Like, I instantly got mad, y'all. You know what I'm saying? I instantly got upset. And I am so tired of, like, even when I look at this trial, let's get the older black man to be the Morgan Freeman voice. And I'm tired of black people, you know, especially our elders, having to be the calming voice of shit. Fuck that. You know, not in the time when we had mostly elderly, and we haven't talked about a lot of shit. So I might vent for the next few minutes. When we have a supermarket where the majority of the victims of a mass shooting with military-grade weapons are mostly elderly people, old people, people who have paid their dues in life and couldn't even go and shop. Let's look at the duality. See, now I'm getting ready to preach, and I didn't plan on doing this, but we're going to go there. Let's look at the duality of the last few weeks or month or two in America, right? We have one mass shooting where the victims are all the most experienced and wise of us. Then we have another mass shooting where the victims are our dreamers and the most optimistic of us. What does that say? It's really sad. Let's also look at this insurrection and look at our mass shootings. We have an insurrection where white privilege storms the Capitol, and not enough police are there, but the police are there getting overrun, but standing their ground. Then you have a mass shooting in Uvalde, Texas, of children, where the shooter, both in this case and in Buffalo, are the same white males who probably would have been at that insurrection. So it's deeper than just them storming the cap. It's deeper than that. We have to look at the root cause and root behaviors. There's something that really is wrong, that is really wrong in this country with race relations, and access to instruments that can help you enforce your prejudice and display your rage. That is a problem. And then I was reading today, and you know what, y'all? I personally have not done these because I'm in a season where I'm trying to make my life count. And I'm trying to make my dreams come true. And I don't want to live in that. You know, I don't want to live in shit. But I was reading today, and it made me sick to my stomach. The New York Times put out a report today stating that some of those children in that classroom in Uvalde, they were alive up into an hour after he entered the building. Can you imagine being 9 and 10 years old with a bullet hole in your stomach the size of a tennis ball, and you are alive, feeling the sting, feeling the life leave your body, and you're too young to process what exactly is going on? While the police wait outside and your parents are being apprehended and arrested for trying to come in and save your life. And I know I got graphic, but I needed to really set the scene. Imagine being that little girl in that classroom who did not suffer a bullet wound, but you just so happen to be lucky enough to have one of the unfortunate children fall on you. And you, having watched so many movies that perpetuate violence, murder, and mayhem on television, you have now been groomed to take the blood from the life that is leaving the body of your friend, smear it on you, and lay completely still and appear dead. And I don't want to compare tragedies, because both of these shooters were cruel. I don't give a fuck about you being bullied. I don't give a fuck about you having mental illness. I don't care about none of this. None of it matters. I don't give a shit. It's all excuses. Not to compare tragedies, but at least in the Buffalo incident, that murderer at least had a weapon that killed most of those people instantly, so they didn't have to suffer. That untrained baboon in Uvalde couldn't even shoot right. And instead of putting those poor children out of their misery, he marred them and left them to suffer. And most of those children were thin. So there's no insulation or any chance that any of those bullets could have gotten lodged. A bullet of that capacity is and you know, I am a licensed gun owner. And I'm a licensed gun owner because I want to feel safe. But I also don't own semi-automatic rifles and military-grade assault rifles. Why? Because I don't need them. I have a personal protection weapon. I don't have something that can shoot through walls and detect heartbeats, because it's not necessary for personal defense. Even doing this is draining to me. It's depressing. And some will say, well, DDM, you know, you built kind of a following off of this. That's very true. I did it because I wanted to talk to people who were feeling the way that I felt. I wanted to do this to create discourse, right? And I recognize that for some of you, these cabinet meetings have become a source of therapy, and I'm very thankful for that. I'm thankful that we get to have these times and that what we do together is helpful to you. But I really wish that we lived in a world where there was no market for this, right? I really do. Because it is very draining. And I just don't know what to do. But on that note, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I thank y'all for all of your support. Thank you for all of your kind words and your support with the film and Sundance. And now we're going to be in Tribeca and Outfest and BFI Flair and all of that. And we've got some great things going on. I'm getting my TV body together. And I'm thankful. I want to say to each and every one of you who support me, support what we do here, because you have helped me be able to transcend the weight of this and really transform it into something that is healing and helpful to me. So I do thank you for that. And I appreciate each and every one of y'all. I hope that you have a great weekend. Sacramento, I will see you on Saturday for Sacramento Pride. I'll be performing at 6:30 there, and we'll have a good time. I think I'm going to show up at Faces afterwards. And, youtube.com/Secretary of Shade. If you're not following me on social media, at Dapper Dan Midas on Instagram and Twitter. It's all the same. Got a new song dropping tomorrow. Hope y'all like it. It'll be on the platforms. I ain't gonna go too deep into it. But y'all be blessed. I know gas is high. Wish you the best of luck on that. The Uber's been hitting me in the face, sis. But yeah, if you want to contribute to the channel, you can also do that. Cash App, Venmo, Dapper Dan Midas, that whole thing. But y'all have a great evening. A great weekend. Keep your head on a swivel. Be safe. And I will be seeing you very soon. Peace and love.